Hi, this is Kurt Blattenberger with the telescopeandsky.com website, and I've got a Feathertouch MicroFocuser here. It's a highly regarded and recommended dual stage or dual speed focuser. It's got the 1:1 ratio on the outside knob and a 10:1 on the inside. And what it does is it replaces the standard focuser on any of the Celestron telescopes. This is the CPC 800 Deluxe HD scope. It would also work on the SE, the Nexstar SE series as well. I'm going to go through real quick the installation procedure. There are some instructions on the web, but I've already read through them, so we'll just go ahead and start here. I'm going to pull off this focuser handle here. It's just a piece of rubber. It slides right off. And then there's 3 screws that hold the focusing assembly in. I'll go ahead and pull those off. Wow, they weren't very tight. Okay, these are just look like a number 2 head Phillips screw. There's 3 of them. So that ring just pulls off. And then there's a retaining screw on the end of this focuser shaft here, and it's to keep it from going too far in so that it doesn't just drop out on the inside of the telescope. I'll pull this out. According to the instructions that I found, some of these have a screw and a washer like this one. Other ones have E-clip on them. This one happened to have the screw. Now the next step is to remove the focuser assembly here. Should come all the way off, all the way out, turning it counterclockwise. Pretty long screw. So this microfocuser will completely replace this ball bearing and brass tube assembly. Get the wrist tired. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Got a, looks like an O-ring, rubber O-ring on there, not that we're going to need it. I'll just set that aside. Next step is on the back, the way this comes out of the box, this is just screwed on the back. So you'll take this little cap off and then screw it onto this rod, threaded rod, and set it out far enough so you can get to this end piece. And I'm going to wipe that little bit of grease off the end. Get it out of the hole because I don't want that. I want that screw to have a good tight fit back in there. Okay, and the next step is to put this screw back in. It looked like it had a little bit of the screw retainer compound on it from the factory. So I'm going to go ahead and just ratchet that down. There's a fair amount of torque. Okay, and then I'm going to back this nut back up against the end of the retainer screw. Then it says the next step is to take the focuser body and screw it into that brass piece. Doesn't go on real far. And then take a 1/2 inch open end wrench and then tighten that down on the focuser body tightly enough so it won't come off. You've got to be careful not to bend that threaded rod as you're doing it. Alright, and then it tells you to push that in, and if it doesn't go all the way, just go ahead and use the 1:1 ratio focuser section to get it back in there, and it will end up tightening flush up against the back of the telescope. Okay, and then just line up the 3 screws. Now the original screws that came with this plate were flathead recess, but this comes with a new set of Allen head, socket head type screws. So go ahead and put those in. I should have gotten my really long... Okay, I just went and got a long Allen head wrench just because the other one wouldn't clear the body of the focuser. So go ahead and use that. That's much nicer. And there's 3 to replace the 3 flatheads that came out of it. And that seems to be all there is to it. Now you got the focuser. I can take a quick look inside here and I can see that it's changing. That's good. And then the 10:1 focuser here, nice and smooth. So this will be really nice. I had my 8SE telescope and it had just the single arm and it was good enough for casual work, but I planned to do a little bit of astrophotography, so I wanted something that was nice and rigid, and this dual arm is much better. I had it out on a fairly windy night the other night and there was no movement whatsoever. So with the 8SE, making an adjustment on the focus just using the standard knob under high magnification with the camera, it was almost impossible to be able to focus it because it shifted all around. So I put an electric focuser on that one, but with this one, with as sturdy as the mount is, and is with the Feathertouch, just like the advertising says, with this focuser, hopefully I'll get away without using the electric focuser. Thank you.